Welcome to the reedreport. We are back here with the official predictions video of the NBA. We're just gonna do first round. We're just gonna do first round. I did a video after the All-Star break predicting the playoffs on how I thought things would shape out, and I ended up with I think I had Phoenix beating Philly in the NBA Finals. No, I had Philly beating Phoenix in the NBA Finals. Um, I am going to admit I am walking back, some of those predictions. Of course, not everything shaped out to be the first round matchup that I thought it would be. The East was so tight when we did that video. Boston was like 7, and now they moved all the way up to 2 to end the season. Chicago was like 2, and now they are like 6 to end the season. So a lot of things has happened. The Lakers are not in the playoffs, not even a play-in team. Let that sink in. A team with Melo, AD, LeBron, Westbrook are not even a play-in team. That team finished 11th in the West. Just a disappointing season. No excuses. I had expectations, and it just went all the way out the road. The Lakers were terrible. And we know who we can point the finger at. Frank Vogel was just announced as fired. Again, just because you fire a coach, it doesn't mean all your problems are solved. It does matter who you bring in next, and it does matter if the players are capable of executing what the coach is implementing. And Frankie V, known as a defensive guy, the players he had were not capable of executing his defensive scheme. So that's just the truth about the situation. He does bear some of the blame, but what was he supposed to do? Those players cannot run with those young guys. Memphis, Phoenix, hell, even Houston, Oklahoma City. We saw the Lakers blow 2 big leads to the Thunder in 2 separate games, a 26-point lead and a 19-point lead at home. They can't run with anybody. What was Frankie V supposed to do? That's how I see it. But anyway, we're here because the official play-in is set, the official playoffs are set, and what we're going to do is give our play-in predictions, and then we're going to go and give our first round predictions for the NBA playoffs. And we're going to start things off in the Eastern Conference. Well, we're going to start things off in the play-in in general. We got Brooklyn taking on Cleveland tomorrow. If Cleveland make it to the playoffs, this will be the first time the Cavaliers make the playoffs in which LeBron isn't on the roster. This will be their first time making the playoffs since 1998. So the last time the Cavs made the playoffs in which LeBron wasn't a member of the team was the Last Dance season for the Bulls, 1998. But they are playing the Nets. They are playing the Brooklyn Nets, and the Nets to me are a similar team as the Lakers. I got Brooklyn winning this game. And getting their keeping their 7th seed, going on to play Boston. Now it's like every time, it's like certain situations just reminds you of a previous one, right? Like last year we saw what happened with the Lakers, what injuries did to them, and they were like 2 in the West, 2nd in the West before they got injured, and they fell all the way to eventually 7, played the Warriors for that spot, held on to their 7th spot, played Phoenix. We looked at Phoenix like, okay, this was fun. Y'all had y'all fun. No one saw y'all getting this or doing what y'all did, but it's officially over because the Lakers are back healthy, and y'all about to get ran out the gym. Nope. Phoenix went down 1-2 in the series. The Lakers were up 2-1, and Phoenix took off and won the next 3 games to win that series 4-2, blowing the Lakers out, embarrassing them, which they did even this regular season in all 4 games that they played the Lakers. And I can see a similar thing here with Brooklyn. 7 seed, we think it's going to be over for Boston, who caught fire, who has won like 26 games since the start of this calendar year. Who won, and I think 13 of them or something like that. Check me if I'm wrong, but like 13 of them were like by 26 points or more. They were just blowing everybody out the water. But I do got Brooklyn winning this play-in game over Cleveland. Cleveland, just too decimated with I think the injuries to key players are finally going to catch up with the Cavaliers. I don't think they can win a one game. I mean, it's possible, but I think the Nets are going for it. So I'm gonna take Brooklyn. And then we got the 7 versus 8 in the West, and that is Clippers versus Timberwolves. Timberwolves caught a lot of teams by surprise as well but they're a young team, and they're in Minnesota. The organization is finally doing things right, finally paying off investments. Patrick Beverley, a big key piece, man. He say what you want about Bev, but he is part of the reason the Timberwolves are in the playoffs. They won 46 games this year, and the Clippers, who are 42-40, clearly would be championship favorites if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were healthy all season, and even with just Kawhi. Well, not just Kawhi, but we've seen Paul George this season, but not all season. So if they had Kawhi Leonard with Paul George, it'll be easily Clippers. And you see what they've been able to do without those guys, without Kawhi at all, and without Paul George for the most part. 42-40. It's a lot of wins. It just goes to show you how important coaching is and the pieces you have around you. And 42 wins means that this is a great complementary of pieces. It's just like the Clipper team before Kawhi and PG got there. They didn't have that one guy who could go get them the bucket, but they had the pieces, and they showed you what they could potentially do. And that's why I like this Clipper team. And I am going to take them to beat the young Timberwolves in this 7 versus 8 matchup to get the 7 seed from the Timberwolves. And then we got Hawks versus Hornets in the 9-10 matchup. Hawks were a team who were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And the Hornets were a team, I think they were in this same spot last year as well, the 10 spot. I'm going to take the Hawks to win this matchup. Pelicans versus Spurs, 2 bad teams who really don't deserve to be here. I'm going to take the Pelicans, though, to beat the Spurs in the West 9 versus 10 spot. Yeah, so anyway, we got Hawks versus Cavs for the 8 spot. And I'm going to take the Hawks. I think, even though we can say what we want about the Hawks making it to the conference finals last year, but you can't go from conference finals to not making the playoffs. I mean, you got the similar team, in place. So I think the Hawks are going to beat the Cavs. I'm going to take Trae Young to get the Hawks over and get the 8 spot. And then Timberwolves versus Pelicans for the 8 spot in the West. I'm going to take the Timberwolves to beat the Pelicans. Again, I just do not Minnesota, but New Orleans is not a good basketball team. Play-in general, I don't like, but it is what it is, so we're going to cover it because it's here. Yeah, but I'm going to take the Timberwolves to get the 8 spot. I think they will lose their 7 spot to the Clippers, but I think they will get the 8 spot in the playoffs, and then they will go to play the Phoenix Suns in the first round.